everybody. So right now, this moment is the exact equinox. So it's officially spring if you're in the northern hemisphere. It is officially autumn if you're in the southern hemisphere. And the equinox is the time of equal light and dark. And it basically highlights for us where we're out of balance, because it is the time of balance. Hi, thanks for joining me live. So given that we're coming into a new moon partial eclipse in the sign of Aries, new moon can bring up the shadow of that sign and eclipses amplify it. So this equinox today is powerful given that we're between eclipses. Okay, it's a very heightened window, heightened emotions, heightened lessons. Everything is kind of magnified for us to get it. And I was sort of contemplating on the lesson of this equinox this morning, and what I felt moved to speak about was that when Aries is out of balance, so shadow Aries, regardless of when you were born, given that we're coming into new moon eclipse in Aries, which brings up shadow Aries for all of us. Shadow Aries, one of the traits can be that we polarize in independence. In other words, we cut ourselves off from people. And this means that we do it harder. Yeah, when we have good quality connection, it nourishes our nervous system. Yeah, we thrive on connection. We're sentient beings. So, and I'm not talking about, pseudo connection, virtual connection. I'm talking about actually sharing a space of vibrational coherence, being able to touch somebody, in the physical. When we give ourselves quality connection, the inner child, which is the archetype of Aries, is soothed. Just like a baby that is not held is emotional, is angry. Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, it brings up who we were up until the age of 7. And so unconscious Aries can act out like a child only thinking of themselves. So you might feel or notice, you might feel triggered or notice behaviors that are very selfish at the moment. People that impose upon you, their wants, their needs, without any regard for where you're at or your feelings or your time or your, And the temptation is to then respond in righteous anger, which escalates conflict. So the challenge is to be able to be an advocate for ourselves, to speak up on our own behalf without being hot-headed. Yeah, Aries rules the head. So, hi everybody. So, this equinox, there's no point in us bemoaning the lack of peace in the world if we're not acting in a way that is peaceful towards ourselves and towards others. So the way that we restore peace and harmony is through restoring balance. So if you've cut yourself off, if you've not given yourself enough connection time or enough support, through partnering, through joint ventures that are symbiotic, are truly embodying reciprocity. People that often haven't done the work of healing their inner child are unconsciously acting out as the child. So they can't do reciprocity. And it's good just to notice, who messages or calls you before 9 a.m., for instance. I had someone do that this morning, and it was all about their needs and what they wanted from me. Yesterday I had somebody tell me off for feeding a stray cat, and speak to me in a very patronizing way, an older male, very patriarchal sort of assumption that he had the right to speak to me in that way, or, and, it feels good when we retaliate. It's like, well, I dealt with that. But really, that's acting out as the child. So we have an obligation to ourselves to maintain peace within ourselves. So that does mean speaking up and being an advocate on our own behalf, but using assertion, not aggression. And if we've got an emotional charge, i.e. if we're feeling righteous, indignant, then chances are there's going to be aggression charged in our words, even if we're trying to maintain a semblance of, keeping it all together. So if you feel triggered today or in the lead up to this new moon, go discharge the anger. Whether that's shaking. Shaking is, the best way to just discharge a build-up of energy in your nervous system, or alternatively EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping out the meridians of the ophthalmic nerve. And if you notice sciatic pain, this is, when you get that clenching pain in your glutamus maximus. This is literally when you're a bundle of nerves. We have like a convergence of nerves there, which then can send referred nerve pain down the leg. Use a spherical hard ball, like a tennis ball. If you haven't got access to a tennis ball, grab an apple and gently massage your glute by lying and rolling on that apple to discharge that tension, that nervous tension that your body is holding. So just my thoughts for today. We are in a very strong time. How we respond to how life is initiating us does set the trajectory for the next 6 months, given we're between eclipses. So this is a time to really show up for your inner child and be that inner parent rather than lash out as the victim, the inner child who's feeling wronged by others and projecting parent on them. So wishing you a lovely day wherever you are, and go well. Ciao for now. Thanks for joining me live, everyone who jumped on the call.